Hey, welcome back. My name is Don. Welcome to my channel, Code with Don, where I show you different programming ideas through different languages such as Python. Also, I do tutorials on building websites using HTML, CSS, things like that. In this video today, I think this will be a cool little project. We are going to build a Morse code translator, and we're going to use tkinter as our graphical user interface. So pretty much the program, we're going to type whatever we want into the program, whatever we're trying to translate into Morse code, and it will take our word or sentence, translate it in Morse code, display it in Morse code, and then we can also transfer it back to text. So I think you guys will enjoy this. So let's begin. Once again, I'm using Visual Studio Code. You will probably hear me say that in every video. I do that because you never know who's watching. Could be someone new and they need to be updated. So if you don't have Visual Studio Code, you can use whatever editor you want. Personally, I like Visual Studio Code. So if you want to download it, just go to Google, type in Visual Studio Code free download, and download it based on your whatever type of computer you're using. So we'll just say project, we'll say Morse project. On Visual Studio Code. And we're going to go to File, Open Folder, and you're going to select the Morse project. Hit Select Folder. We then are going to go to our terminal, create our virtual environment. And for those of you who are new to this channel and never seen my videos, a virtual environment, pretty much when you create a virtual environment, you are isolating the program that you're building to that environment. So it's nothing you do on that program, like installing packages or libraries, is globally installed into your computer. It's simply installed into that programming environment, which is good if you're going to be sharing this source code or program with anyone else. So we're going to say we're creating our environment Python-m my env. Also, if this command does not work in your terminal, I'm using a Microsoft Windows. I'm using a Windows computer. So if you're using Mac or anything like that, you will have to use a different command. So just go to Google, type in, how to create a virtual environment, and make sure you put the type of computer you're using, and it'll give you the command for that. Now you can see it creates our library, or our folder, which holds different subfolders, which is the include folder, library scripts, and then we have the pyvemb.cfg. Once you do that, it takes a few seconds, but we need our terminal to update. Sometimes it takes a few seconds to update. And then we're going to activate the environment. It's not enough to just create the environment. For you to actually build and function in the environment, you need to activate it. So you're going to say my env /S for scripts activate. And once it displays down here my env, and it might be a different color for your computer depending what you're using, it lets you know your virtual environment is now activated. So now we're going to create our file. We'll call this morse code.py. All right, now we are going to import our library. If I remember correctly, tkinter is one of those things that's automatically installed in the editor, so you shouldn't have to install it, but we'll know for sure at the end. Or actually, we'll just double check. I don't believe you can pip install tkinter. Yeah, see, it says cannot find a version that satisfies the requirement. It's already installed. So you're gonna say import tkinter, and tkinter is the library that creates our graphical user interface. Now that we have that, we're gonna create a variable, all caps, Morse code dictionary. What we are going to do in this dictionary is we're going to go through every letter of the alphabet, and then I think we're going to go through probably numbers 0 to 9, and then we're going to define we're going to say like A, and then as the variable, and then it's going to hold the Morse code value of different symbols that we're going to throw in there. So let's begin. This part's probably going to be the longest part of the program, or typing this out, so just be prepared. So we're going to say A, and we're going to say Morse code will be period underscore. Make sure you go to comma, then we're going to go to B, and we're going to say, make sure you're doing that colon, because that's going to link the two lines of code together, or the value, and then, or excuse me, the variable, the dictionary key value pairs. So it links A to this, this Morse code, and then B to our next section of Morse code. Let's see, make sure you capitalize everything. Or not capitalize everything, just make sure you capitalize every letter. And we're going to say, we'll do, let's see, underscore, and we'll do dash, period, dash, period, and then quotation mark, make sure you have that colon in there, another comma. I'm going to go to D now. We'll say do that for the Morse code. We'll go to E. And we will say, let's see, symbol. We'll do a simple period. F. And do 2 periods, a dash, and we'll do another period. Obviously, you can always go through this on your own and edit it. If you want the G or the different letters to mean something else, you can always do that. And we'll say, let's see, dash, dash, period, comma, and then we're going to hit enter, because we don't want to have too many characters on one line. It goes against PEP. I don't remember the exact number, and pretty much PEP is like the standard of like what is defined by the Python community as clean and efficient code. J, and let's see, we will go period. And also, I'll probably say this towards the end of the video, but once you see the video, if you like what you see, it's helped you out, if I offered you any value, I would appreciate it if you like and subscribe, or like my video and subscribe to my channel. It allows me to keep making these videos, allows more people to see and get the value from these videos as well. If you are a person who's been coding or programming for a while, or doesn't really matter how long, but if you see there's a better way to do this and you have that type of experience, please leave a comment below. I would appreciate that. Always looking for ways to get better at programming. Also, if you have any questions or having any issues with your code, feel free to comment down below as well, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible, or as soon as possible. Let's see. Okay, this is going to be the longest or the most tedious part of the program, but it needs to be done. So we're going to say, we'll do double dash, parentheses, quotation marks. And then we're going to do N. Make sure that every letter you have is in between quotation marks, single quotation marks, and the same with the Morse code. Make sure that's in between single quotation marks, because if it's not gonna, the computer's not gonna read it, or the program's not gonna read it correctly. Also, make sure you have a comma at the end. This is letting you know, pretty much signifying that this line of code is done. We're going to move on to the next line. We're going to go quotation mark O. Oh, not, not 0. We're going to say quotation marks. E, and then we're going to go with Q. Also, for those of you who are trying to find like good books to read on programming, O'Reilly has some pretty good books. They also have like, and I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. I'm just letting you know because I use their books. They have like a library online, or you can download their app. You have to pay like a membership fee, but you have access. It's like a monthly membership fee. I don't remember the pricing. Things like $30 or $50, one of the two. But pretty much it's on, I think it's called Safari Libraries, but you pretty much can read whatever coding books they have, and they update them, you know, based on like the times that change or how many years go past. They update them as well, but they have some really good books. They cover a lot of different topics. Those books have helped me out a lot on my learning about programming. I would say one of the things about programming is like, it's good to read books, but don't spend all of your time reading books on programming. That was like my big mistake. Like, make sure that what I mean by that is make sure that you read books, but you also spend most of your time on the computer programming, you know, putting what you learn into practice. If you're just reading the books and you're not putting in what you learn to practice, you're going to forget the information or not truly understand the concepts. It's one of those things where it's like, you know, I could read a book about something, but you truly don't quite understand it until you have that first person experience in doing it, if that makes sense. We will do 30 periods dash. also, if you have any red line of code, that's letting you know that there's an error or, it's not complete. So you'll see that pop on and off as we build the program. It's only a problem really if it stays on. That means that, okay, you've completed, like if you're done typing and you see that line of error and it doesn't change, that means you messed up. Either there's a syntax error or the line of the block of code is incomplete. Finally, we're reaching the end of this alphabet. And then let's see, comma, and then we'll say Z. Okay, now that we've done that, we're going to now do numbers, and we're going to just do it from 0 to 9. So we're going to say 0, or we're going to hit double quotation marks, no, single quotation marks, excuse me, colon. We'll do another line, another section of single quotation marks, and we'll do 5 dashes. Do 1. Period. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. We'll say period, and then we'll do 3 dashes. Do 3 periods and 2 dashes this time. I say it a lot in my videos, and I don't mean to be a broken record, but I think it's very important because you have to grasp this concept down. Like if you're going to learn the program, you have to keep that hunger, and you have to keep approaching it as, no matter how much you know, I mean, I haven't been programming that long. I've been doing this for maybe 8-9 months. But I'm saying you can listen to people who've been programming for 10, 15 years and they'll tell you the same thing. That you have to keep that mindset of a student, and you have to keep that mindset of, I don't know enough. I need to keep learning. The moment you feel like you know everything, you plateau and you stop progressing. So that's very important, and it's very important to consistently, consistently, especially when you're first learning, consistently try to program, try to do something with coding every day, whether you're reading a book, taking courses, physically coding on the computer. It's very important to get those concepts engraved in your mind. I truly believe this. Anyone can learn how to code. It's all about, are you willing to put the time and the effort into it? You know what I mean? If you're able to put the time and effort into it, then you can do it. The problem is that a lot of people, they give up because it's hard. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. You know what I mean? If it was easy, developers wouldn't be getting paid as much as they do. So the fact that it's not easy is a good thing, because you're going to achieve something if you stick with it that's going to be of significant value. Nothing that is easy, or how can I put it? The things with most value in life come with hardship. It doesn't come easy. And then the last part we'll say single quotation marks, and this is specifically to handle the spaces. We'll leave a comment there so we know. Great. Okay, let's see. Let me double check something, make sure that dictionary, that last bracket, we need that to close this block of code. Finally, we got through that. Congratulations for getting through that long, repetitive section of just letters and Morse code. But hey, you gotta love doing what you do. You know, if you if that like right there drives you nuts, then it's like, you know, you're going to be sitting programming on it. If you pursue this as a career, you're going to be doing this for hours upon hours. So make sure that's something you enjoy. So now we're going to define our function to Morse. This is going to turn text into Morse code. We're going to say, oh, make sure you go up there and hit File Save. I do that often. You never know what's going to happen to your computer. I hate to have to start over. So I'm going to say text equals input underscore entry get. And this is going to display the text. It's going to turn into uppercase, but also the text entry that we put in is going to display the uppercase. And now we're going to define our Morse code variable. We're going to say join. Make sure you capitalize the next section. Morse underscore code dictionary char, and char is not going to be capitalized. Now we're going to bring in our if conditional statement. If char in Morse, make sure you capitalize that. Dictionary. Else, our else statement. Char for char and text. And then we're going to print out, we're going to have the output to label. Output underscore label config text. And this is pretty much displaying, we're pretty much creating the display, and or we're making the layout for it to display the Morse code. So we're going to say text equals quotation mark Morse code. Make sure the M and the C is capitalized. I don't mean to be a broken record with that, but like when in Python, capitalization, lowercase, it matters. Like you can type in the same word, but if you have it lowercase one part of the word and then uppercase the other part, or you have the entire word capitalized and then you rewrite it lowercase, like it means two different things, and the program will pick it up as two different things. So we're going to say make sure to put that colon there. We're going to say plus Morse code. Okay, now that we define our, okay, we don't need that bracket. That's the bracket we were looking for earlier. It ended up down here. We're going to say, now we're going to define our Morse to text function. And we're going to say Morse code equals input underscore entry get split. Now we're defining the function. So if we want to convert our Morse code back to text, that's what we're doing. We are making the layout for it. I'm going to say text equals quotation marks, join key for vowel in Morse code, for key value in, and then we're going to, the next line of code, we're going to say Morse code dict for a dictionary, Morse code dict items. Make sure items is lowercase. And we're going to say if value equal to vowel. And then I'm going to close out with parentheses. I'm going to finish writing the next here. There we go. Sometimes that red line takes a moment to disappear. I was going to say I was going to finish out the block of code to see if that red line would go away, but it went away on its own. So I'm going to say output underscore label config text. Make sure that T is capitalized. Text, colon, excuse me, plus text. Go to your file, save. Now that we have that set up, so pretty much we laid the blueprint or the layout for what we want to be displayed on our screen. Now we're going to create the graphical user interface window that's going to display all these things that we want. So we're going to say create the GUI window. I'm going to say root equals TK. Make sure the first T is capitalized, the second, or the first T is lowercase, the second T is capitalized. We're going to say root title Morse code translator. So this is going to be the title that's going to appear on our graphical user interface. Now we're going to create the widgets. I'm going to say input label equals TK label root. I'm going to say text equals, I'm going to say enter text or Morse code. So it's going to display the label on the screen that's going to say enter your text or Morse code. And then we're going to say input label pack. Pretty much what this does is, Python's an object-oriented language. So pretty much you are doing the layout first. You're telling right here what we want to be done, and then we're activating it pretty much. We're packing it, activating it so it displays. Okay, now we're going to move on to input entry equals TK entry. I'm going to say root, and we're going to have that width equal 50 pixels. And we're going to say, and we're going to pack it, pretty much activating it, display it. I'm going to say pad y equals 5. So we've got our label and our entry section set up. Now we're going to move to our Morse button. So we're going to say to Morse underscore button equals TK button root text equals translate to Morse. Command equals text underscore to underscore Morse. We are going to packet to underscore Morse button pack patty y pad y. So right now we created our Morse button, and in that Morse button is going to say it's going to display to translate to Morse, and then if it's pushed, it's going to activate the command and it's going to turn the text into Morse code. Now we're going to do our text button or to text button, and this is the button that's going to turn the text into Morse code. Or it's going to take the Morse code and turn it back into text, excuse me. So I'm going to say to text button. We'll say TK button root, comma, text equals. Let's say text, or excuse me, translate to text. And then we're going to create a command. Command equals Morse to text. And we're going to pack it. To underscore text underscore button pack pad y equals 5. Same principle. We create a text button. This text button will say translate the text. When it's clicked, it will activate the command and turn the Morse code back into text. And now we're going to say output label equals tk label root text, and back that to output underscore label pack pad y equals 10. So this is the output label. It's going to output whatever we do. It's going to output the either in the Morse code or text, depending on what button we pushed. And finally, we're at the end of our code, and we're going to say this will run the GUI, and you're going to have to say root main loop, and this is what activates everything, the GUI and everything. We're going to hit file save, go down here into your terminal, hit clear, and we're going to run it. Name TK period. TK is not defined. Okay, let's see. What did I do wrong? Oh, yeah. It's that typo. Sometimes you got to be careful. Instead of just putting TK, put the whole tkinter. Let's hit file save. Let's try that again. And there you go. We have our graphical user interface display box. And now let's say I like Python. Hit here and then say translate to Morse. Okay. We have an error. Line 14 says in text of Morse, Morse code equals, comma, Morse code dig chart. Join is not defined. Okay, let's take a look back at that. Says line 14, Morse code equal. Okay. Let's see. I think what the issue is. Yeah, see, it's those little small errors that you got to be careful for. I have a comma there instead of a period. Very important to pay attention to stuff like that. But, it's really cool. That's what I love about these terminals. If there's an error, it pretty much tells you where to go check. Here, I'm going to hit clear. It's going to take a few seconds to update. Oh, I see what it is. Hold on, let's close this window. Hit file, save. Okay, now let's try it. I like Python, period, translate the Morse, and there you go. You have your Morse code at the bottom here.